Hello and welcome to become a full stack developer. In this tutorial, we will discuss about the overview of grpc on .NET and what is actually the grpc is, why we use the grpc, what the difference between the REST API web services and grpc. So let's first start with the what is the grpc. Grpc is invented or designed by Google, so that's why it is pronounced with the G may be pronounced the Google, but the RPC mean remote procedural call. So why we use the grpc? So uh, the simple reason for that is grpc provide a support for multi programming language, and it is also the open source, and also it uses the protobuf protocol and for on wire serialization. And if you have heard about the web services, so web services mostly uses the XML or JSON, or it works on the Windows binary uh, communication. But this uses a protobuf with the uh, binary serialization, with the binary communication, the gRPC. So what is the difference between the REST API web services and gRPC? The web API or REST API is used or allows to build a HTTP services, for we deployed it on somewhere on the HTTP, when we do here when we go to here like a facebook.com. So this is kind of HTTP, like a HTTP protocol in simple wording. Or you can simply go to here. I have found one guru.9. It has differentiate between the difference WCF and web API request reply. These all just for to grab your knowledge about the stuff, and why we use grpc. The benefit for that, if we go to the Microsoft, it is showing the performance, interoperability, and usability, and productivity, streaming, a deadline, and security. There are a lot of reasons for that. I'm not going to explore all this stuff, but the here is the difference between main difference is it is using the HTTP protocol, but two, and we can use the TLS and end-to-end encryption. These are different things. The another thing is that uh, gRPC is we can say it is a strongly typed communication, like the WCF. It is also the strongly typed, but it has some kind of different things, like different approaches, as it is the main thing is the WCF is that it support only the C# language, but the WCF is support the multi-language programming. So before wasting a lot time, let's create a go to the programming side. So for time saving, I have created one project with a different services, with different class libraries. So here I have added one project. When we go to the project, and here we will find that r grpc, you will find the ASP.NET Core grpc service. So when we do click here, this will be your we can call it like a server, or grpc server, or you can call it a, grpc service. It totally up to you what actually you want to naming the your project. So because I have added already, so I'm just going back and closing this one. This is the same project I have added, grpc microservices, because I'm working on the one of the my project that is about the microservices. This is a very big project, so I have implemented the rgpc protocol in my project. So because we the main advantage for grpc is that whenever we want to communicate between these microservices, so this is a good approach to use a grpc, because it does not like a when we are creating a different microservices, so we can communicate with the http client or whatever, but because all the microservice services are, we have created our own, so it is a good approach to use a grpc, because it is a fast latest thing and easy to maintain all this stuff, and we can share the different things between the microservices, so that's the reason for that. So here, when we create a grpc project, it will, the structure will looks like this. The one one is the proto folder and then the service folder. So the by default is a greet proto. So this is the actually this is the extension for the proto, like class, like in the c sharp we create a class, we create a service like the public class or blah, or public class greet, and then it is returning this hello and this thing. It is kind of like this, we can say that here in my service, suppose I have created a service, I'm naming it the save logs. So this is one thing like in a c sharp, and it is returning like a weight and all this stuff. But in the proto it has the same thing, but the syntax is different, like a service, here your service name, and what actually you are returning, like we are, this is actually a method name. In c sharp we our method name is like this one, save log, but here in proto, here is our rpc, this is our method name, and it is the what actually it is accepting, like the payload or the parameter, the request body. It is a hello request, and hello request it has a name by default now, and this is your reply mean your return type, like here in the db log my return type is a async task in string, but here it is returning the hello reply. So this is just a simple example. So, and here the another folder is the service. So this is the by default added by when we click on the, when we create a grpc project, so these are two folders are being created, proto and services. So the services, this is a default added by the microsoft. So you can say that this is your method, right, your service method, so it has overload this method actually, this method. So when you build this project, so the service is created like in this way, uh, say hello, and the hello task, all this stuff like it, this is our the proto syntax. But in the c sharp, it has override the same method in a different way, like in the c sharp approach. So this is what I'm going to run. Let me actually open the one instance for our. So the another thing is that in this case, here is our microservice for this rgpc. So it has going to, no, we are going to run this project. Go, you can see that here. Okay, so our server is up. So it is listening on this port, actually this port. If we click here, like onto the browser, go to the browser here, if we try to run this code, so it will show you something like it will show the message for you. So meanwhile I'm opening my client. So I'm making it by default to make it a startup project. Oh. So now you can see that it is showing that communication with the grpc endpoint must be made through grpc client. So it's mean that we cannot directly call the our endpoint with the http with the url. We can do that actually in the web. For that these are different approaches. If you go to the Microsoft website, the overview of the grpc, so it has mention how we can add the protocol like the http and all this stuff. So you have to go to onto this page for to configure all this stuff, because in this tutorial my aim is to just give you the overview about the grpc. So this is about that. So here I'm going to create a, where is that actually? Okay, so this is our console application. Now you can see that we have our grpc service running on this port. And here I'm going to, I have created actually one console application. In the console application I just installed a package, uh, manage package. I have installed actually only this package grpc.asp.net core, because I'm working on in the ASP.NET Core, so I have added this package. So when you do add any kind of package, it will show on to this package package folder actually. So this would be our uh, address. And because we are implementing, and also one interesting main thing is that I had copied the same grid.proto into my uh, client project. So you can create a different library or to share the same resources, but for time saking, for to save some time, I just copy the same thing over here. And in that case I will do some changing for that. And when I do click on the proto on properties, so I need to change the first proto compiler, and then the class for that is a client only. But in the case of our server, if you go here, it will show you that the server only, right? So this is the difference between both, nothing else. And this is a way for that how we interact with our client, the grpc channel dot address. And then I have created our model because that was accepting the name. And this is our actually proto name, like the greeter dot. If you go here, you can say that greeter, this is a greeter, right? So greeter dot create client, this is the default functionality, and it will call your channel name. And here this is the method. These are actually two methods, like say hello or say hello asynchronous. It depends which actually you want to use. So I'm using this one. And here if I want to go here, console dot right line. And so I'm saying that, let's say this, actually let write this one dot message. So this is the message value. So I'm going to run this, our application, console application. Now you can see that Now you can see that hello Anjam is here, and if you go to the service, here is our uh, master like a service. You can say that we are returning hello, but in our client, here is actually this is our client, but I have opened in a different uh, instance of Visual Studio. So Anjum. So here is you can say that hello Anjum. So the another thing is that if you want to add a new thing, so for the time being, I have created a new proto. This is my proto, uh, like here, because this is our in running state. So here we can add a proto, new proto. You can find that proto buffer. You can add anything like whatever you want to name of this your buffer. So in my case I have added a new buffer logging proto. So this is my service name, and I have added a different message. Like this is kind of class, you can say that the service name 1 to service 1, IP2 and 3, that 1 2 3 4 5, this is just nothing. It's just ordering of your field. We can add int as well, int age, suppose 16. So you can add the any kind of data type here. So this is about that, and in my case I'm just returning the ID. And I have added my service because I'm approaching a different way. Like it is the same like this one, but because I'm saving data into my database, so I have created another service. I'm using my DB service here, and then the DB later stuff. So uh, and I have created one method of mapping because I'm just saving the same request into my database. So this is my database little stuff. So no need to worry about that what actually this is written about and how it is written. And the same thing is that for the time saving, let's so for the time saving, I have created a same client for my logging proto. So the new client logging proto, the channel, because my service is running on this port, as we already have shown somewhere, and like the previous one in the greeting service. And I'm just passing the data like a new GUI dot to string. So I'm not doing any kind of random number, but I'm just making it a string and the machine name and the service name, and then calling the my service. So here I'm just going to debug the code, run. So it is just calling the method, asynchronous method, main method. And here uh, because I have added the breakpoint into my server side like this one, so it will definitely hit that uh, method. So now you can see that the request come to the our grpc microservice project. And here now it is calling the save method, because here we are using the save asynchronously. And as I said earlier, when we do create any method, any service, actually in the proto we call it a service. So it will generate a two method automatically, one with the asynchronous and one without asynchronous. So it comes here on the server side. So over here, it is just mapping the request with my database. And now uh, it has returning this value. Now you can see that it had returned, here is the method actually. Let's come over here. So this is the method that is returning from this ID, internal error occurs, support has been stopped. Our supporting staff uh, our supporting staff has been notified of this error because my VPN is not connected. So that's why my data is not saved in my database. So in that case, I'm just returning the error message. So this is about the R. This is about the remote procedural call, G remote procedural call, and it is very useful. And if you have any kind of question, concern, or any ambiguity, please feel free to discuss and feel free to put the comment in the commenting box. And thank you for watching.